What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today is the day we're going to upset a few people. We are going to cut the 67 Corvette up to put a roll bar in. So those of you that possibly might be new here, this car is being built to run in the fast racing series. We run a couple L88 Corvettes. They are 69s. There is one 68 that runs in the class. There are no 67s. This is going to be a 67 L88 Cologne. The car is a real 67 427 435 horse car that we bought, wrecked, had the front end knocked off of it, had a bunch of work done to the quarter panels. The frame was bent. It's got a new frame underneath of it. So yeah, we're pretty much bringing this thing back to life, and not only that, we're giving it more life because this thing is going to be a well-known race car, and it's going to look original, but it's going to have race car guts and be a race car underneath the skin, and we're just going to have a bunch of fun with it. So today we're going to put a 850 legal cage in it. Hopefully someday they tell me I have to leave the racetrack because we go faster than 850. But for right now, this car is getting an 850 cage. So we're going to do a main hoop, 2 down bars in the back, and then we are going forward. And then I wanted to go through the dash to make it look cleaner, but I'm not going to be able to. So the bar is going to end up going in front of the dash. I'm going to try to hide it and tuck it as well as I can, and just do a killer job on it and make it look like it belongs. So the worst part about this is, see the cutoff wheel right there? We got to cut the inner fenders out, or inner quarters, whatever you want to call them. We got to cut them out. So probably start the cut about right here, go straight back up, and then I'm not going to cut the entire inner wheel well out, but part of it probably, because we got to be able to weld this cage to the frame since it's a full frame car. If this thing was steel unibody car, we could actually just weld it to the floor and not have to cut any holes in it. But because it's a full frame car, it's got to get cut up. So we're going to end up saving these patches and fiberglassing them back in, and it'll actually look really nice once it's done. This will be the 3rd Corvette that I've done this winter, I believe. Yeah, this will be the 3rd Corvette that I've put a cage in this winter, so I kind of have an idea on what to do, but those were both 69s. This is going to be obviously a 67, so they're different. So for right now, I'm going to start cutting this thing up, take some measurements, and then we'll probably start bending some tubing to start putting a roll cage in this thing. Alright, we just butchered this thing up. Cut big old holes in it. Like I said, I cut extra large holes because it's easier to fix one big hole rather than multiple small holes. So we'll just fiberglass that piece back in after we get the bar in. But you also saw me mark the headliner. This is the center of the car. This is where I'm going to start my bend. I'm actually going to start it here. This is where my bend essentially should stop, which gives me a measurement to start my second bend, which then I ran out of places to mark, so that should end roughly about 2 inches. That's going to be somewhere around 20 degrees. That should bring me straight down to the frame rail. And then the down bars, I really wanted them hidden, but I think they're going to go right about here. You're gonna see a little bit of them. I have to put a sticker there or something to try to hide it a little more. But it'll look good from behind. You won't see any bars running down like that. At least that's the plan. Hopefully we can make it work and make it look good. So, man, my leg's asleep. I'm gonna wheel the bender out and get a fresh stick and start bending this main hoop up. Got the main hoop fitting in here pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. I wish I wouldn't have gave it a 5-degree bend right there, but I did. I thought it was gonna tuck up nicer than that, but I mean, I still can't barely get my finger in there. But it's just touching the top, not hitting the dome light. It actually fits super nice, except for that one spot where I put a 5-degree bend. But I need to grind the bottoms of them a little bit, tack that in, and then we can start making up the back bars and possibly doing the forward bars too. But as I was working on that, they ended up pulling the black car over here, ripping the engine out of it. It is sitting on the floor because new engine is going that engine is going in something else, and then we got a mess of a bunch of stuff going on around here. I was absolutely struggling with this thing yesterday. So I went home early, which is about 8:30 for me, and got a good night's sleep, came back and knocked these things out. I don't know why I was struggling so much yesterday, but I was. I also struggled with the main hoop, which is why I went home and did nothing for a few hours, because it was making me pretty mad. But all the bars are tightly fit, looking pretty good. So now I'm just gonna weld those things up. I don't know if I'm gonna pull this whole thing out and weld it or not. I am gonna lift the body up off the frame, so probably just weld those up, tack weld them, and then start on the front bars. So I've got this driver's bar fitting about exactly how it's gonna go in. It's touching a little bit right there, but I want to trim just a little bit off of here, bring the whole thing down, and hopefully end up making it fit just a little bit better back here. Everything fits fairly nice. Definitely got a lot of cleaning to do, but probably take this stuff all off and repaint it before I actually weld it all in. But this is what we were after, trying to get this thing to be able to use the factory light switch. So now we'll be able to do that. We were thinking about moving it over here to the wiper, but gonna use that. And then yeah, that's pretty much where this bar is gonna go. It's gonna drop down like a hair. I want to try to get it off of that so it doesn't end up scratching it as the car's running, but can't get much tighter than that. I mean, you could, but then it'd be touching. But instead of finishing this, we are going to dyno the black Corvette. Just getting it on the dyno right now. Just put the fresh engine in from BES. See what we picked up. We went back to the yank converter that we know works and get some dyno time on it, and maybe even go to the track this week. So we're gonna finish getting this thing on here and make some pulls. All right, so that is the pull where this thing went 940 at 144 at the end of last year, right before it broke the rear end, or whatever it broke, half shaft, whatever it broke. 683 is the power it made, and that's about what this thing's always made. It's made in between 680 to 700 depending on the day. So I think we're gonna pick up big right here. What did it do?
Shot my pulley right off.
Shot the thing off.
The crank pulley?
Yeah, I watched it.
I thought it broke something again. I was like, what the heck is that? Well, it made 737 shooting parts off.
Oh man.
Can you see it come off in the video?
Yeah, but I didn't keep it on long enough. You can just see it bounce down and spark.
Oh, the pulley come off?
Yep.
What a bad video guy.
Don't say nothing about the pulley, that's cheating.
Yeah, our pulley is cheater. Probably that's gonna be next. We're cheating with our crank pulley. Let's see, we are 12.0 air fuel. This thing is as fat as can be. Usually likes to run like a what would you say, like 12.8, 13.0?
This?
Yeah.
Right, 13.4, 13.5.
So it's pretty fat. We're not gonna jet it because probably gonna have to jet it at the racetrack anyways. But it just picked up. What did we pick up from the 680? So we're about 52, 53 horse from when this thing went 940. And also fat, we could probably get, that's probably every bit of 10 horsepower. Might be a little more. Sometimes they make more power on the second pull after everything warms up too. So we're gonna make one more pull and see what happens. That was better. 751.
What was the air fuel again? Still 12?
It leaned out. It was probably 12.5. It started out really lean. Like it was 13, not really lean, but it started out at like a 13.5 and then. All right, we're getting this thing off the dyno because we are super happy with that. And I put up a comparison right here. I'm gonna put up an actual comparison. There we go. Blue. That is when the car went 940. It went 937 with a little bit more power than that. Around like this thing made like 690 when it went 937. And at the time, set the record with this car. I was driving Larry's car and we set the record to the 931. We were making, Larry's car came here that night, or maybe it was the next day. I'm pretty sure it was that night. And made 740. And you can see the difference. I mean, right here, Larry's car was making 684. This is making 721. Let's go up here to 6,500. Larry was making 719. This is making 737. So heck, this car, this engine right now is making more power at 5,900 than it made when it went 940. This thing is gonna fly. Come out here to, let's go 7,800. That's all we pulled Larry to. 639 and 751. So we're making 12 horse more at 7,800. But right here is crazy. This is a lot right here. I mean, this is where it falls back down during the shift. So I mean, this engine in this car is going to be up a lot of power versus when we went the 931 in Kirkham's car. And that was 148 mile an hour. This thing's going 150 mile an hour. So I was actually laying under it a little bit ago, coming up with a parachute design. It's gonna come through the license plate and then come up. We're gonna make it removable so we can take it out if we have to. Not that we don't wanna run with it, it'll just be nice to take it off. Oh, and before you guys say that we picked up power because it threw the crank pulley off, we put another pulley on it. So the fan and the alternator are hooked up. But 751 is the most power, and it'll pick up power after we lean it out a little bit. It went from like a 12.0 to a 12.3 and picked up that little bit of power. That was also because, I mean, everything warmed up after that. They always make more power after their first pull. But Yeah, really happy with that. Hopefully we can get to the racetrack this week with this car. They were going to do a track rental last week and they ended up not doing it. So if they do one this week, because the weather turns out, is it supposed to be nice this week?
70 on Wednesday, like 73 on Thursday, I think.
Oh, so mid 70s hopefully. And if it's nice and they're doing a track rental, we will be at the racetrack with this thing. So hopefully everything will work out. We get to the track. Don't forget, t-shirts on sale, 20% off. Get those at hpdepot.com. Gonna keep pumping these videos out for you because we got plenty of stuff going on here now. Hopefully get to the track with this. Trucking away on the 67. It is right now, let me show you the date. It is Sunday, April 16th at 5:03 p.m. And this is how much work we got to do. This thing is a big project, but we've got no fuel system, no interior, big old holes in it. One fit bar, the other one's close. No engine, front suspension's not staying, rear suspension's not staying. Yeah, we got a bunch of work to do to this thing. If it doesn't make it to Martin, the only reason I'll be upset is because people are looking forward to seeing it. I wouldn't be upset if it doesn't make it, because that would give me another month to actually do things that I want to do to it. But right now, it's just going to get thrown together and rushed together. And I think with that being done, we've got to put an engine that's sitting over there in Ed's car. My mom's car might get a new engine, depends on when that engine gets done. And then this thing. So we could have 2 cars done end of next week. If everybody gets on this, we should be able to have this thing ready to go. A little less than a month. I'm not that worried about it, but like I said, if I don't make it, the only reason I'll be upset is because everybody will want to see the car, because we've been trying to make it to that event, but as you can tell, we're a little behind. But that's gonna wrap this video up, so thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.